What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I wanted to go over 6 different Zach LaVine trades as the rumors are heating up right now that he could be on his way out of Chicago. So that's coming to you guys here in just a second, but I want to get you guys involved here early on today's show. As there's speculation if Zach LaVine will be traded before opening night of the 2024-25 NBA season. So you guys let me know, will Zach LaVine play another game with the Bulls? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down in the comments section. But let's dive into it. So 6 trades coming up here in just a second. But let's set the scene first. So the biggest reason why Zach LaVine, if you could say he's not going to get traded, is definitely his contract. Making $43 million this upcoming year, $46 million the year after, and then he has a player option in 2026 of $49 million. Also has that 15% trade bonus, which the Bulls would pay. It would not actually be the team trading for him. So, these numbers, those are just the respective team numbers that they're going to have to hit, to trade for Zach LaVine. But why I am in the camp that the Bulls just need to move off LaVine by any cost is because the youth movement and the rebuild, it's here. Clearly the Bulls front office has made this a point of emphasis this offseason that they wanted to get younger. They wanted to get more athletic, but you still have 2 big dominoes to fall in Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine. But they got 10 players right now under the age of 26. I mean, Lonzo, still only 26 years old. And then you got Jalen Smith, Ayo, Kobe White, all at 24. And then the 5 guys you see on the right side of your screen are all under the age of 22, at Patrick Williams being the oldest at exactly 22 years old. But Giddey's still 21. Dalen Terry, former first-round pick from a couple years ago, he's still 21. And then you got Julian Phillips, and then obviously Modest Buzelis, first-round pick this year. He's only 19. So clearly the youth movement is here. So how could the Bulls position themselves to, just further carry on this rebuild this offseason? Well, I got 6 trade ideas, and this is the first one I saw floated out there. These are not all from me. I took a lot of these from the internet, then cooked up some of my own myself. But I saw this one out there on Fanspo, and this is a wild one. So this would be the Bulls moving off LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. It would send Vuce to the Bay, heading to the Golden State Warriors, and then LaVine heading to the Brooklyn Nets, and the Bulls would have to attach their 2025 first-round pick from Portland. It is lottery protected. I do not see that conveying whatsoever. So you just throw that on there, just a little more, icing on the cake. And then also the 2 second-round picks, one coming from the Warriors and one coming from the 2 the Bulls received from the Kings. But keep your eyes out on the first-round pick from Portland and the 2 second-round picks. Casey Johnson did report that the Bulls are going to try to attach on the 2 firsts that they did receive from the Kings to help facilitate a Zach LaVine trade. And then, hey, the Bulls in this deal are getting Ben Simmons and Andrew Wiggins. And we'll talk about Ben Simmons a little bit later on today's show. But a trade that I could see, going down. If I had to put money on it, where is Zach LaVine going to end up? It would have to be the Lakers. So this is a deal I cooked up. The Bulls would receive D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and then they would be sending Zach LaVine and the 2 second-round picks. And then the Lakers, if you're looking at it, you would have a pretty solid 5-man lineup. You would have Austin Reeves, Zach LaVine, LeBron, Dalton Connect, Anthony Davis. Maybe they try to go get a true 5-man still out there in free agency. But I would actually like that move for the Lakers because as it stands right now, I don't even know if they're a play-in team in the Western Conference. But if you make this deal, they definitely could be. And I'm sure Bulls fans are saying, why would we want D'Angelo Russell in Chicago? Yada, yada, yada. I understand that. I agree. I do want to make the comparison, though. If you guys remember, when Drew Holiday was traded from the Milwaukee Bucks to the Portland Trailblazers, everybody was saying, why would the Trailblazers want Drew Holiday? Well, what did they do? They packaged him for Malcolm Brogdon and 2 first-round picks, sent him to the Boston Celtics. I could see the Bulls doing the same way. So I think this would be a move where they would, reroute D'Angelo Russell. So I really don't think the Bulls have a need for him, as you got Giddey, you got Kobe White. Maybe you get a 3rd team involved. Maybe the Bulls could just get a draft pick there. But by no means, if the Bulls do make this trade, would I see D'Angelo Russell, playing a game for this team. But a player I do like in this is Rui Hachimura. And, I've been a big fan of his game over the last couple of years, just mainly because his archetype of forward, I think, has gone underrated and undervalued in the league. That big physical presence who can knock down the three-point ball at a high level. And he's been pretty good for the Lakers over the last couple of years. I think he's a big-time playoff player as physicality translates the best from the regular season to the playoffs. But, hey, 27 minutes a night, almost 14 points, shooting very efficient as well at 53.7% on field goals and 42.2% from downtown. Big fan of his game, and I actually think it would fit in pretty well with the Chicago Bulls unit they have right now. But let's take a look at an Eastern Conference team, and that's the Miami Heat. Now, this would be a wild one. So this would be the Bulls getting Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. And I will say, just hearing what other, NBA insiders are saying about Tyler Hero, I don't think teams are a big fan of his contract. So I actually could see the Bulls, this possibly being, a trade that the Heat may be interested. But, again, I'll give you my thoughts on that here in a second. But the Bulls would have to attach, a 2025 first-round pick from Portland and 2 second-round picks. And you land Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. And I'll tell you what, from the Bulls' perspective, I would love this trade, especially just to get, more shooting on this roster. Like, I think it just will help, the development of Giddey, of Kobe, of Ayo, just having more floor spacers, out there will obviously open up driving lanes. It would just help them, take that next step in their NBA career. And also a guy like Patrick Williams, you want him getting to the bucket. You want to expand his role. Adding these guys would be huge. But I don't think the Heat would be interested in this. I think they're pretty content on running it back with the team they have. Obviously injuries were the biggest reason they did not succeed, this past NBA season. So I doubt the Heat are interested, but, maybe they think a core of LaVine, Jimmy, and Bam is enough to get them back to the NBA Finals, because this was a team with, with no Tyler Hero a couple years ago, did go ahead and make it to the NBA Finals as an AC. But I doubt the Heat are interested, but, that could definitely be a trade I could see going down. But how about the Houston Rockets? And I think as NBA fans and just NBA media, we are underrating the Rockets a lot right now. I was just looking at the roster. They're absolutely stacked. I mean, they got Jabari Smith, Jeff Green, or Jalen Green. Like, they got a ton of, and Şengün. Like, they got a ton of good players on that roster. Well, maybe they want to get some more talent in that backcourt. So it would be a trade of Dillon Brooks and Jeff Green to help match salary, and then the Bulls send Zach LaVine and 2 second-round picks to Houston. But, Dillon Brooks, we know who he is. He is that absolute menace on the basketball court. He likes to stir up drama. He likes to play defense. He likes to play a physical brand of basketball. And, I'm not saying he's near Alex Caruso as a defender, but he would be necessarily an Alex Caruso replacement. Now, also, I do like this trade for the Bulls. I think Jeff Green would be huge for the development of a guy like Patrick Williams, Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, a veteran who's been in the league, been a role player on a championship team. He has done it at the highest level, and just with losing DeMar, I honestly am more nervous about the impact it could have off the court for these guys in comparison to on the court. I mean, Dalen Terry and Kobe White and even Ayo, they were just talking about DeMar after the sign and trade to the Kings, just raving about him, telling the media how much, he has helped their development. And I think Jeff Green, could offer that as well. And that's also something I feel like we undervalue as well, is just a locker room aspect. I feel like it's always on the court, but just having that veteran presence, having that, NBA vet in your ear day in, day out, just I guarantee you it's just going to help you stay, locked in. But let's get to this. This is a wild one. Don't think this is going to go down, but, maybe the Brooklyn Nets and the Bulls try to just swap bad contracts. So it would be the Bulls receiving Ben Simmons, and then the Nets would be getting Zach LaVine and 2 second-round picks. I like this trade for the Bulls. And, I look at Ben Simmons as a guy that, yes, he has his red flags. We know he doesn't play a lot of games. We know he has the mental part of the game with him shooting the basketball that just has always been that, it's always been tough for him to get over that hump. But he's got potential there. 6'10", freak athlete, can guard multiple positions. And when he's locked in, he's one of the better defensive players in the NBA. I think this would be a fun deal for the Bulls. Just take on Simmons for a 1-year, $40 million deal. Maybe he ups his trade value and you can move him at the trade deadline. But thinking long-term of the Bulls' future, I don't think a Simmons-Giddey combo could be on the court at all, as they are both just terrible shooters at this point. And plus, they both play a guard and forward position. Then you also have a center on there. You're necessarily, you're going to really mess up your spacing there. But, I mean, look at Simmons' first 4 years, man. I mean, he was filling up the stat sheet, almost 15, 8, and 8 over his first 4 seasons, also shooting incredibly efficient as well from the field. But let's get to this one. This would be a move I like as well, and it would be the Bulls receiving John Collins and Jordan Clarkson. Big fan of John Collins, but it is the similar trade package of Zach LaVine, 2 second-round picks, and the first-round pick from the Portland Trail Blazers. Let's break down Clarkson and Collins here. Start with Clarkson. I don't think it would be a move where the Bulls would want him on this roster. I think it would be, similar to how I mentioned the Drew Holiday, where they would reroute him similar to D'Angelo Russell if they do get him. I could see that being the case. But John Collins, I'm a fan of him. And, if we're talking about the youth movement here, like John Collins is only 26 years old. And this past season, I thought he was pretty damn good. I mean, 15 points a night, almost 10 rebounds, very efficient, has that stretch four ability, and I love that archetype of player. Very similar to like that Aaron Gordon, very physical, very athletic. We'll see if he can, get to the spot Aaron Gordon is defensively in his career, but I like players like this. That Rui Hachimura, and the Bulls don't have that. I think we're hoping Patrick Williams becomes that, but he's more of a true three. And I would love John Collins at the four. Like, if you actually rolled out a lineup, if you're able to move off LaVine and you go Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Patrick Williams, John Collins, and Jalen Smith, that's a fun team, all under the age of 26. Would they win a lot of games? Probably not. But that's also the whole point of this is, the Bulls, you got to have that first-round pick for next season. It's top 10 protected. If you somehow win 35, 40 games this upcoming year, you're going to be drafting 11 to 14, and then that pick's going to the San Antonio Spurs. So, also, I will make that note. I don't think that – so I was originally saying the Spurs could be all in on LaVine, and I understand that, but I think a little bit the Spurs are hoping the Bulls don't trade LaVine just so that, they're good enough to get to that 35, 40 win mark. So, I don't know. I think the Spurs are probably out on the Zach LaVine sweepstakes. But, it gets me this. Like, Bulls fans, there's no good trade out there for Zach LaVine. The market's super slim. It was even tough for me to come up with 5-6 teams that could help facilitate a deal. I do think it's the Lakers. If I had to put money on it, if he is even dealt, I would probably say the Lake Show is that team. But, guys, just prepare to be disappointed. I guarantee we're going to look back on it and be like, oh, what did the Bulls get for Caruso, DeRozan, and Zach LaVine? It's probably going to be like no second-round picks because you're probably going to cancel out from the Kings trade. It's probably going to be Chris Duarte, Josh Giddey, and maybe like a Rui Hachimura or something like that. So be prepared to be disappointed, but that's the point. Sometimes you need to take a step backwards to take 2 steps forward, and that's hopefully what the Bulls are planning on doing. But you guys let me know, how do you feel about the Bulls heading into this season? I'm optimistic for the first time in a while, even though I am frustrated this rebuild did not start, damn near a year ago from this point. But, I'm feeling optimistic. But you guys let me know, how do you feel about the Bulls heading into this season? And always, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Keep you posted with all the latest around your favorite basketball team. So appreciate all the support on the channel as of lately. But hit that subscribe button, lock us in, and we'll see you guys next time. Go Bulls.